Reality hits home. Back from Cardiff, what have I done? Doubts. When you are sitting in a motorway cafe alone and isolated, it gives you time to think and reflect upon what has happened and the reasons why you left and ran to a faraway place, away from everyone who ever knew you. One could only assume that you had had a breakdown of some sorts, a breakdown of communication, and that you had happened to have had this for a reason. In a short space and time, by running away, you had found yourself again and had experienced a glimpse of a life you wished to lead, and you thought that you were now ready to tackle what lies ahead with confidence. You don't have to worry about anyone or anything anymore, and you certainly don't have to try very hard to please anyone, because no one threatens you, impedes your growth, or stamps on your independence. The people you meet will please you in return. Again, no one knows your story, and you don't know anyone else's, and you see the reasons why you ran away now. You are just an ordinary person with another story to tell. You just think that you had had enough of the life you led before and wanted to be a part of another one in order to forget how unhappy you were feeling. You had wanted to change your life so much, but opportunities were flooding past you, and you were missing every single one because of the state of negativity you were in. That other life was perfect for a while. It's like hopping off one train and then onto another, to explore another life for a while anyway, in Cardiff again. You sought after a life full of happiness, security, warmth, love and difference, full of excitement too. That time will come, but just not now. In years to come, when the true story has been unravelled and your words have set you free, all it takes is the guts to leave it all behind and the conviction to carry your decision through. 2017, then in 2019, in this final edit on the 7th of November, due for release on the 14th of Feb 2018, we are close to the goal. I still haven't released the final edit yet, but those were my goals back when I was writing the notes down in this book. Then reality hits you and you begin to feel out of control, emotionally drained, confused and unsure of what the past few days have all been about. You were lacking in strength, that's all, and no one was supporting your decision to leave because of old-fashioned values and morals. You had been pushed out of the family and friends circles. You were setting out on a journey of self-discovery. Remember, you found yourself. You realised that you were not to blame for all of this. And you discovered who you actually were deep down and reminded yourself of all the achievements you had made and of how proud you really were of what you'd achieved so far. This was someone you were when you were younger, a tender age of 17. You need to realise that you can get those feelings back, those feelings of you for gain. It is never too late to feel confident again. Recognise who you were, be that one, and live the rest of your life happy, content and free. Hold on to those feelings. Your life has just begun. And only in 2019, on the 19th of March, was I in the position to say that this was the truth. So all this dreaming, all this planning was finally, for the final time, coming true. Becoming yourself. You can be this person again, stripped of all insecurities, full of belief, confidence and energy. Be that joyous child walking on the earth. Take forth all that you know and go and reap the benefits of all the hard labour you have endured throughout your life. You are going to be respected and remembered for what you were, what you've become and what you are. Torn between two lives, one out of reach for now and only reachable on your own, and one mundane life endangered with bonded love and security. You always knew that this would be a very difficult decision to make, but you knew that you would make it. You would make the choices to believe in the content of this book and go for it. You realised back then that what you had over the last few days, you could have if you started all over again in the life that you had led before, as only you can make it happen. So you return. How noble of you. Could you try again? It's worth one last try, surely, but you still may both reach the same eventual outcome of separating in time. You have to be sure. All it takes is the guts to be honest and truthful about how you feel and have the energy to rebuild your life and relationship the way you want it to be. Sometimes, however, things just are not meant to be. Be honest and true about how you are feeling, and you are ready to bounce back and be yourself again. I made the decision to go back home to confront the situation and obstacles that lay in my path. The broken relationship that lay tattered and torn. I set out to mend the situation, to start all over again, to make things work as I believed that was what was expected of me. You have to accept if this doesn't work, then you must leave. You will find love again. It didn't work for me in both instances of failed relationships. You both have to be willing to compromise and change for the relationship to be renewed and for it to blossom. Take your time, iron out all the creases, and start again. I wanted to make things work, but of course, like the rest of my story, it just wasn't meant to be that way. Something else was already destined to happen, and no matter how hard I tried, I wouldn't retrieve all that had been lost. I had to move on into the arms of someone else, who became the father to my firstborn child. How that situation materialised was truly shocking, but I was never to know otherwise. They say that love is blind. This cruel twist of events led me to a life on my own, without a partner, with a little boy. The journey in between shaped and changed me for the better. People I met along the way mirrored my good intentions and allowed me to be me. They trusted me to make the right decisions and realised that they were very different to me. They gave me space to grow and accepted me for me. I was still meant to leave, no matter how much resistance I gave. You see, I feel you are meant to experience certain scenarios to make you stronger and toughen up. I had to get through this final stage of my life on my own, until my world was corrected again, and everything went my way from that point onwards. If we were to know what it's meant to happen to us in life, we'd never have the nerve to move forward. Sometimes you just have to jump into the deep end, swim into deep waters to get through to the other side. If you get stuck in tidal waves, then you keep afloat. Although we have choices to make in life, we sometimes have no choice over certain avenues we tread, and the decision is made for you. In these times, you just have to hold on tight. Keep moving forwards, accept that what is happening is meant to be, and rise above all people's views on the situation. That way, we set ourselves free. Pray for a change in circumstances, and in some cases, forgiveness for what has been gone. My heart was not in line with my mind, therefore alignment was out of sync. We were bound to drift apart and destined to separate. The decision. The advice here is to go with your thoughts at the time and take some time out on your own, a short break away or a chat with a friend. Don't leave it until it gets too much to handle and you then have to rely on someone else to pick up the pieces. It takes two to get together, two to make a baby and two to share the adventure, commitment, and two to make and build on a relationship. Both parties need to pull their weight, talk when necessary, and never leave things bottling up. Talk on a regular basis, sit down and make the time. Have time out to explore each other's feelings and never let the problems amount to too much. You can work it out eventually, amicably, and without too much strain. Some people can't understand this, but it just proves what a caring and persevering person you are if you can try to make things work. If this is what is meant to be, to make you happy. If you give your present situation another go without the pressure or advice and opinions from other people, then you will come to a decision yourself. You will come to your own conclusion. That decision may or may not change your present situation. If the decision you make does happen to change, then your life should become better, as long as you both work at it. If it doesn't, and life remains the same, making you unhappy and lost, then you may choose to survive on your own, and you will as long as you have a strong mind. You will eventually rebuild your life around you the way you want. Remember, you need to be happy. Paramount. Your happiness is everyone's happiness. They will mirror your intentions. Be happy and be in love. The departure. What happens when you are still faced with unanswered questions that are gnawing away at the insides? The only way out is to leave for good. irrationally, and without a care in the world, putting on a brave face and believing that this is the right thing to do to bring you back to life. This behaviour can only be put down to hitting rock bottom and complete despair, with the belief that things will never change in the life you led before, a life that you wanted to escape from so much, but knew deep down that it was going to be the hardest decision that you would ever have to make in your life, ever. Bottom of the ocean. It doesn't mean you gave up, it just means you need to move on. No matter what you do, things will work out for the best. The path that you are now deciding to embark upon in order to turn your life in a totally different direction with the primary aim to make yourself happy wasn't going to be easy, and there would be obstacles in front of you that you would have to overcome to reach the life you wished yourself to lead. You also had to accept that there was no turning back. When I chose to leave it all behind, trust me, eventually things did get better. It just took a little time, well, a long time actually, perseverance and strength to overcome all that